Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
And that fourth meal.
And the fourth meal. What an honor for us that we have Kanye West on JUAN Epstein.
We've been trying to get this for a long time, yay.
Yeah. Has 88 Keys told you? 88's always said he's promised us he would put you on to our podcast. We do this nerdy, like, historical hip-hop podcast.
Okay, dope.
We don't want to talk about your issues with paparazzi and any big headlines you got. We want to talk that real shit.
So we're trying to get, so there are a lot of things we talk about with you that we want to get historically that we think are super interesting and haven't really been touched.
Okay.
Like, I'd love to start with your early hip-hop producer stories. Like, I don't even know really the first hip-hop producers to influence you from the very beginning.
I like it.
Yeah, like No ID is my biggest inspiration.
Like
as a
you,
producer. Right.
but because you met him, or what were you listening to?
You were already into Common off top. It was the Common Sense stuff.
Yeah, I already love that style of music, and I think it related more to me because I was from Chicago.
Right.
So they were the only ones combining that like New York hip hop with a Chicago attitude on top of it. Yeah.
Were you more Pete or Primo?
Ooh, good one.
I think I was more Pete Rock. But I love Primo also, and of course the RZA and just all those people I reached out to when I did My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So, yeah, but like songs like I Gotta Love, like certain samples like that just meant, man, it definitely Pete Rock. I mean,
why that one? That's funny. I don't know if I've ever heard anyone reference I Gotta Love as a song that they would
It
like.
makes sense, though, the way the sample with the words in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Jamaican sample like that, and the way he turned it up, man. That's that emotion and feeling that I was always trying to go to and also like Q-Tip, so like Midnight Marauders, Electric Relaxation, Award Tour, records like that. Like when I did the College Dropout, I was really attempting to get that type of sample and that type of feeling at all costs, at all times. Yeah,
I get super nerdy.
Take it to the next level.
Super nerdy, because you're a Pete Rock fan, Q-Tip fan, but then you have this affection for RZA music. So you an MPC or you an ASR type of guy?
I use both.
Use both. You mix it up.
Yeah, I mean,
you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
Why you mixing
both.
it up?
Yeah.
Is that uncommon, Saif? Very uncommon. You're generally
there's a mindset. There's a certain type of person. I guess it makes sense now that you say use both. There's a certain type of person that you hear that MPC style, and then the like Muggs, RZA, Alchemist, or ASR. That fucking weird, loud, little bit off. You know what I'm saying? And Pete Rock shit is just perfect.
But you like both, depending on where you're feeling.
Yeah. I mean, whatever tools I need to get that point across, to get that sound across. But I was blessed to have grown up using the EPS 16 plus. I didn't know that it's something that would be something so warm about the sampling techniques. About the sound of the ASR that then would help define exactly the style of music I did. So a lot of that music that came out just to get by, it sounded like that because it went through ASR.
So that was the one you just mentioned was your first piece you ever had?
Yeah, I had an EPS 16. I don't even know if it was a 16 plus. No, I had a Amiga computer when I was in 7th grade because I wanted to design video games on it and stuff, and I started doing the music for it. I got really interested in particularly doing music, and then I found out about sampling when I was 14, and I saved up all my money to get a sampler, and I remember I had my stepbrother at that time was living with me, and he told me, like, look, if you let me borrow this money, I'll give you $20 interest on it. And I was saving up the money. It's going to take me a number of weeks to save up from cutting grass to get the sampler anyway. So I was like, yeah, cool. But then once I was getting close to it, he wasn't really giving me the money back. And I remember, my stepfather told me one time, like, don't ever loan him anything, right? Never. But before, he had talked me into a loaner. And I remember this other time where I used to always get on punishment and told not to use the phone. This is back when you had corded phones. It was no cell phones back then, right? So I'm on the phone, and my stepbrother came in, and he asked me, he said, yo, what was you doing? I was like, I wasn't doing nothing. He's like, was you smoking a cigarette? Because he saw the light from it. And I was like, no, I was on the phone. He's like, you sure you wasn't smoking no cigarette? And he grabbed me and said, yay, whatever you do, don't never smoke anything. Never smoke anything, right?
Damn.
So to come to find out, he's a crackhead, and I didn't know it. And I had told
Wow.
and I didn't find out until I asked my, stepfather for the money. I was like, man, I got to get my sampler. And he had kicked him out the house.
And you had basically initially, unbeknownst to yourself, gone into business with a crackhead to get your sampler.
Yeah.
Not knowing that.
But yeah.
So you eventually got the sampler?
I eventually got the sampler.
What was it, like 7 seconds or something? What'd you have?
No, ESP.
No, the sampler was for the computer. So I used to sample on the computer before I got an EPS.
Oh.
I didn't have the right equipment. And I was always like, if I get the right equipment, then I'm going to be able to like do this and do this. And I would always like study it. I'd be so into it. Like I'm really like focused when I'm really, I'm passionate about something. So I would study it.
Yeah, we know that about you.
Yeah. So I would study and get into it. And I think it's like right now for me as a celebrity, like sometimes people think it's weird for me to like call out fashion people or say I don't got this, blah. All I'm doing is I'm trying to get my new EPS 16.
Did you ever meet Dilla in person?
Yeah, all the time. We hung out. He gave me drums. We worked on Common album together.
And you guys worked on Common together. And you guys talk semi-regularly? Because you once said he had the best drums in hip hop. That was a quote I remember seeing on a Dilla record. Did you admire him for his drums specifically, or?
Yeah, 100%. That man was a genius. Whatever he could do to tweak that MPC, the way he worked it in a different type of way. Everybody had the real producers, everybody had their swag and they thing that they brought. I had this production level where I would take these like really infectious samples, put an infectious thought idea that everyone could relate to, because it felt like no one could relate to me, or no one wanted to be me. Everybody wanted to be more like gangster and stuff when I was coming. So I put that together and kind of created this palette that Jay-Z helped me out with the blueprint to make that popular, because Jay-Z's really great at setting new trends and everything, so he made that popular, and I put that spoken word style on top of it. But my drums, if you listen to my sonics, they wouldn't compare to anything that Dilla was doing, or anything that Dr. Dre was doing, or anything that Swiss Beats was doing, or anything that Pharrell was doing. My drums are actually my Achilles heel. So what you guys got to understand, it's like Yeezus is an exercise in drums and mixes more than it is an exercise of hit records.
Why is it your Achilles heel? Why are drums hard for you?
Well, now they're not hard because that Yeezus bang.
Crack music was hard though.
Yeah, crack music.
Crack music was hard.
Every now and then I would get it.
You catch one.
Every now and then I get it. All the lights, we mixed that so many times. Every now and then I would get it. Even with Stronger, I'd ask Pharrell, I'd ask Timbaland, help me redo these drums because it just don't knock. We still be redoing the drums to this day. We still redo the drums. So Can't Tell Me Nothing. Can't Tell Me don't knock like, it don't knock like Mike Will. It don't knock like Travis Scott. It don't knock like Young Chop.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And lastly, what about Michael? You talk about Michael all the time. You did a remix for him. Did you ever have an MJ personal encounter?
Yeah, I sat with Michael Jackson. I met him over Leonard Cohen's house, and I just vibed out with him. And then, I think Michael the one that put that battery in my back to do 808s. I played Good Life, and he was like, who's that singing right there? I like that voice. It was my voice. He gassed me up. Next thing y'all know, y'all had me in the night of here. I was like, Michael Jackson told me I could sing. Fuck all y'all,
All right, last question.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
What's a Oluwapdu?
The Oluwapdi.
What is that?
That was just like some shit we used to stay in Chicago. We almost, I haven't heard it said in a long ass time and shit. So that was just like psyching somebody out,
Oh, how do you say it?
The Oluwapdi.
Oluwapdi.
Yeah, the way he sounds on the
I tried
record.
to hit you with the Oluwapdi.
Right.
I tried to hit you with the Oluwapdi.
And do you remember the time Cypher Sound? Do you remember?
Oh man, we're gonna bring that up.
Do you remember when you were trying to get was it Lyricist Lounge?
On a Sound Bombing album on Ruckus.
You were trying to get on, and Cypher said he didn't have room.
And that wasn't me.
I thought it was you.
Nah.
Oh no, Raucus was like they like the old version of what the fashion crowd was. They
son, we was mixing the album.
But Most Def told their heads. Who is Jared
and Brian.
Jared and Brian. This is Kanye West talking to you. This is the greatest moment of your hip hop life. You passed on signing me because I didn't have a look. I wasn't official enough. You didn't like the way I rap. But guess what? I thunk myself to annihilate and become the most important hip-hop musician of all times. And I'm just getting started. Jared, what is the names again?
Brian.
I done already forgot your name. And that's even important to you.
Thanks, yo.
My shout out almost got you some pussy. And then it fucked it all up.
Yo, yay, thank you, man.